Did you think you knew our world? What if I told you that in some countries people dance with the dead, jump over babies, or even greet each other by spitting? Today, we're embarking on a round-the-world journey to explore some of the most shocking and astonishing cultural traditions found on our planet. Get ready, because some of these customs will make you completely rethink your understanding of normal. Before we dive in, it's crucial to remember what might seem strange or even wild to us is a sacred part of history and life for others. Every tradition has deep roots. Behind it lie centuries of beliefs, climatic conditions, historical events, and a unique worldview. These aren't just quirks, they're the cultural code of entire nations. So let's set aside our preconceptions and immerse ourselves in the incredible diversity of human customs. Let's begin. Let's kick off our journey on the island of Madagascar. Picture a lively family celebration, laughter echoing, joyful music filling the air, and tables laden with delicious food. Now add one rather striking detail to that scene. The guests of honour at this joyous event are your long-deceased ancestors, just exhumed from their crypt. Sounds like something straight out of a horror film, doesn't it? But for the Malagasy people, this is a deeply sacred and joyous tradition called Famadihana, literally translating to the turning of the bones. Every 5 to 7 years, families gather at their ancestral tombs. They carefully open the crypts and gently retrieve the remains of their loved ones. The old burial shrouds are carefully removed, and in their place, the deceased are rewrapped in fresh, often luxurious silk fabrics. But this isn't just a simple redressing. In these profound moments, the living truly connect with their departed. They share recent news, recount joys, and seek guidance and blessings from their ancestors. Then, something truly remarkable unfolds. To the rhythm of live music, people gently lift the bodies of their ancestors and begin to dance with them, carrying them lovingly around the tomb. While this might strike us as unconventional, or even sacrilege, for the Malagasy, it's the ultimate expression of love and profound respect. They hold a deep belief that the spirit does not fully depart this world until the body has completely decomposed, and this ritual is believed to aid the soul on its journey. It's not a farewell, it's a reunion. Now let's journey from the scorching plains of Africa high into the majestic mountains to the enigmatic land of Tibet. Here, the customs surrounding death are so profoundly different, they often shock or even horrify Western sensibilities. Forget coffins and cremation. In Tibet, they practice what's known as sky burial. When someone passes away, their body is carried to a designated platform on a mountaintop. There, it is left, to be consumed by vultures. Yes, you heard that correctly. The primary participants in this ceremony are massive birds of prey. A ritual specialist, known as a rogiapa, prepares the body to facilitate the bird's work. Then a flock of vultures descends, meticulously cleaning the bones. To many of us, this sounds gruesome, even barbaric. However, this tradition carries profound meaning and practical justifications. Firstly, Tibet's rocky and often frozen ground makes digging graves nearly impossible, and trees for cremation are scarce at such high altitudes. But more importantly, it's deeply rooted in Buddhist philosophy. The body, after death, is seen as nothing more than an empty vessel. To offer it to the birds is considered the final act of generosity and compassion, a gift to all living beings. Tibetans believe that by consuming the flesh, the vultures facilitate the soul's swift release and ascent to the heavens. Thus, what appears to us as an act of destruction is, for them, an act of profound compassion and ultimate liberation. From the chill of the mountains, our journey takes us deep into the heart of the Amazon rainforest to Brazil. What must a boy do to truly become a man? Pass exams? Find a job? But for the Sateremawe tribe, the answer to that question is far more agonizing. To become a warrior, a young man must endure one of the most excruciating initiation rites on the planet. He dons special gloves, intricately woven from leaves. Sounds harmless? But inside these seemingly innocent gloves lurk dozens of enraged bullet ants. The name of these insects speaks volumes. Their sting is considered one of the most agonizing in the entire world. Those who have experienced it compare the pain to being shot, For approximately 10 excruciating minutes, the boy must wear these gloves, performing a ritual dance as the ants mercilessly sting his hands. Afterwards, his hands swell dramatically, blacken, and can even be temporarily paralyzed for several days. The intense pain doesn't subside for days. Yet that's not all. To fully complete the ritual and be recognized as a true man, this ordeal must be repeated up to 20 times over several months. This brutal rite of passage teaches young men to endure unimaginable pain, control their fear, and ultimately proves they are ready to become the protectors of their tribe. Leaving behind those painful rituals, let's switch gears to something far more fun, yet equally strange. Our next stop takes us to Buñol, a small town in Spain. Every year on the last Wednesday of August, the streets of this town transform into an absolute tomato free-for-all. It's home to the famous La Tomatina festival. Tens of thousands of people from around the globe flock here with one sole purpose: to hurl tomatoes at each other. The action kicks off in the morning when trucks deliver over 100 tons of perfectly ripe, or rather, overripe, tomatoes to the town centre. At the sound of a signal, an hour-long battle erupts. People hurl tomatoes at anything and everything that moves, building walls, the cobblestone streets, and of course the participants themselves, all become coated in a thick, squishy layer of red pulp. So where did this bizarre tradition even begin? Legend has it that it all started in 1945 during an ordinary street brawl, when some youngsters started pelting each other with vegetables from a nearby market stall. Everyone enjoyed it so much, they decided to do it again the following year. Authorities tried to ban the chaos, but the tenacious residents fought to keep their unique celebration alive. Today, La Tomatina is a world-renowned festival, a vibrant symbol of unadulterated boisterous fun. There's only one crucial rule. Before throwing a tomato, you must crush it in your hand to prevent injury. Beyond that, it's complete freedom to let loose. Let's leave Europe behind and journey to Asia, to the land of the rising sun, Japan. This country is widely known for its restraint, politeness, and strict rules. However, once a year, in the city of Kawasaki, a festival takes place that shatters all those stereotypes. It's the Kanamara Matsuri, or as it's more commonly known, the Iron Penis Festival. Yes, you heard that right. On this day, the streets are filled with phallic imagery and giant sculptures of the male anatomy. These are paraded on special Makoshi shrines, and you'll find them transformed into lollipops, keychains, and other souvenirs. Tourists and locals alike smile as they pose for photos with enormous pink phalluses, and surprisingly, there's not an ounce of vulgarity in sight. So, where does this all come from? Legend has it that in ancient times, a fanged demon possessed a young woman and repeatedly bit off the genitals of her fiancés. A local blacksmith, taking pity on her plight, forged an iron phallus. The demon then bit it, breaking its fangs. Today, this festival is dedicated to fertility. People come here to pray for healthy childbirth, marital harmony, and protection from sexually transmitted diseases. So, behind its shocking facade lies a very kind and deeply meaningful message. Leaving Japan behind, our journey takes us to misty England, home to one of the world's strangest and most dangerous sporting traditions. Are you ready to risk life and limb, break a few bones, and endure countless bruises, all for a wheel of cheese? Welcome to the Gloucestershire Cheese Rolling. Every year on Cooper's Hill, hundreds of intrepid daredevils from across the globe gather. But this isn't just any steep slope. It's an almost vertical, rugged, and treacherous incline, where simply standing, let alone running, is a monumental challenge. The concept is simple. From the summit, a 3-kilogram wheel of double Gloucester cheese is sent hurtling down, reaching speeds of up to 100 kilometres per hour. Hot on its heels, a crowd of participants plunges after it. Their goal, to be the first to cross the finish line at the bottom. No one even attempts to catch the cheese. It's an impossible feat. Instead of running, participants mostly fall, tumble, and careen head over heels down the slope, desperately trying to maintain some semblance of control. Injuries here are commonplace. Sprains, fractures, and concussions are so frequent that paramedics and ambulances are always on standby at the base of the hill. And what's the grand prize for all this? The victor claims the coveted wheel of cheese. It's a mad, yet undeniably thrilling spectacle, proving that for glory and a centuries-old tradition, people are truly willing to risk it all. And now for a tradition that some men might call a dream, and others a nightmare. Welcome to Finland, home of the annual wife-carrying World Championships. Yes, it's an official sport, complete with its own rules and world records. The concept is simple. A man must carry his wife, or simply a female partner. Marriage isn't a requirement, as fast as possible across a 250-metre obstacle course. But this is no ordinary jog. Competitors face water pits, hurdles and sand traps along the way. The most intriguing part, though, is the carrying technique. The Estonian carry is the most popular and effective. The woman hangs upside down on the man's back, wrapping her legs around his neck. It's quite a comical sight, to say the least. Where did this peculiar pastime come from? Its origins are rather murky. One legend suggests that in the 19th century, a notorious brigand named Herkko Rosvo Ronkanen roamed these parts. He only accepted men into his gang who could prove their strength by stealing women from neighbouring villages. Today, however, it's a joyful festival that attracts participants and spectators from all corners of the globe. And what prize awaits the champion? With typical Finnish humour, the organisers decided the best reward is beer. The winner receives as many litres of the bubbly beverage as his precious cargo weighs. A wedding day is typically when a bride wants to look absolutely flawless. A pristine white dress, perfect hair, and a radiant smile. But in Scotland, things take a rather unconventional turn. Here, before walking down the aisle, brides must undergo a famously messy ritual known as the blackening of the bride. Days before the big day, friends and relatives stage a surprise ambush for the bride-to-be. They kidnap her, and that's when the real fun begins. The poor bride is then doused with and covered in just about everything, sticky, dirty, and foul-smelling imaginable. Soot, molasses, rotten eggs, sour milk, and feathers. After this, the blackened bride, still covered head to toe, is paraded around town, often in the back of a truck, with loud honking and as much noise as possible. The purpose of this seemingly humiliating ritual is to prepare the bride for the challenges of married life. Scots believe that if she can face this ordeal with dignity and a good sense of humour, then no domestic problems or spats with her husband will be too much for her to handle. Additionally, it's thought that this ritual wards off evil spirits who might bring misfortune to the couple. So if you happen to see a young woman on the streets of a Scottish town, completely caked in grime and feathers, don't be alarmed. Chances are she's simply about to get married. Continuing our wedding theme, let's take a trip to Germany. Here, they have their own noisy and somewhat destructive pre-wedding tradition, the Polterabend. This lively party, held a few days before the actual wedding, lives by the motto, "Shards bring happiness." Guests arriving at the engaged couple's home come bearing a unique kind of gift. Old crockery. We're talking plates, cups, flower pots, and yes, even old toilets. Essentially, any ceramic or porcelain goes. Then, all these items are smashed with great gusto on the doorstep of the future family's home. The loud clamour of breaking pottery is believed to ward off evil spirits and jealous onlookers who might otherwise disrupt the couple's happiness. But there's a practical side to this tradition as well. Once the guests have had their fill of destruction, the bride and groom are tasked with sweeping up all the shards together. This acts as their first joint task as a soon-to-be married couple, symbolising their commitment to tackling any challenges life throws their way together. A crucial rule, however, is that only ceramic and porcelain items are allowed. Smashing glass, particularly mirrors, is strictly forbidden, as it's believed to bring 7 years of bad luck. Quite the opposite. So, if you ever find yourself invited to a German Polterabend, remember to bring an old plate along. Let's journey to scorching Africa, to Kenya, and meet the renowned Maasai tribe. These tall, proud warrior herders are famous for their vibrant attire and truly unique traditions. And one of the most astonishing to any outsider is their distinctive way of showing deep respect and bestowing a blessing. They spit. Yes, spitting, an act we typically consider the ultimate insult, is among the Maasai a sign of the highest honour. They spit into their palms before shaking the hand of a respected elder. They will even spit on the faces of newborn children to wish them a long and happy life. It's believed that praising a child without first spitting could invite misfortune. The most moving and significant instance of this tradition unfolds during a Maasai wedding. When the bride leaves her ancestral home to join her husband's family, her father offers his profound blessing, and he does this by spitting on his daughter's head and chest. While this might seem utterly bizarre or even offensive to us, for her, it is the most cherished gift from her father, a potent symbol of his love and a heartfelt wish for good fortune in her new life. This powerful tradition vividly demonstrates just how diverse the languages of respect and love can be across the world's many cultures. Leaving Africa behind, our journey now takes us to China, where one of the most poignant pre-wedding traditions awaits us. While for most cultures, wedding preparations are a time of joyous excitement and eager anticipation, for the girls of the Tujia ethnic group in southwest China, it's a month of mandatory tears. This ritual is known as Zuotang, and according to tradition, exactly 30 days before her wedding, the bride-to-be must begin to weep. Every day for 1 hour, she must shed tears in a dedicated hall. These are not meant to be feigned sobs. The tears must be genuine. 10 days later, her mother joins her. Another 10 days pass, and her grandmother takes part. Eventually, all other female relatives and friends join in as well. The women sit in a circle, collectively wailing or weeping over the bride's impending marriage. But these are not tears of sorrow. Rather, they are an expression of joy and mutual love. Loud wailing is considered a mark of the bride's intelligence and virtue. If a girl fails to cry, she'll be deemed poorly raised, and her neighbours will ridicule her. The origins of this tradition date back to a time when marriages were often arranged for practical reasons, and brides genuinely mourned their fate. Today, however, it is largely a symbolic ritual, a tribute to history that transforms tears of sorrow into tears of joy and unity. Our journey through Africa continues as we head to Ethiopia's Omo River Valley, home to the Mursi tribe. The women of this tribe are renowned worldwide for a shocking tradition that shapes their unique concept of beauty. This involves the practice of wearing large clay or wooden plates in their lower lips. Upon reaching adolescence, a girl's lower lip is pierced and a small initial disc is inserted. Over time, this disc is replaced with progressively larger ones, gradually stretching the lip to incredible proportions. This demanding process requires immense patience and is a testament to their endurance. The larger the lip plate, the higher a woman's social status, and the more beautiful she is considered within her tribe. The size of the disc also directly impacts the bride price paid by the groom's family. While women can remove the plate in their daily lives, it is mandatory to wear it during important ceremonies and celebrations. For them, it is far more than just an adornment. It is an intrinsic part of their cultural identity and a powerful symbol of female strength. Shifting our focus from the unique tradition of lip modifications in Africa, we now travel to Southeast Asia, to the border region of Thailand and Myanmar. Here, nestled in the mountain villages, live the Kayan people, whose women are world-renowned as giraffe women. Their most striking feature is an incredibly elongated neck, adorned with dozens of glistening brass coils. This custom begins in early childhood. Around the age of 5, a girl receives her first neck ring, and gradually more are added as she grows older. The combined weight of these brass coils can amount to several kilograms. Despite a common misconception, the women's necks do not actually lengthen. It's an optical illusion. Instead, the heavy rings press down on the collarbones and shoulders, forcing them to lower and deforming the ribcage. This downward pressure creates the appearance of an elongated neck. So why do they do this? There isn't one single answer. According to one legend, the rings served as protection against tiger attacks, which often targeted the neck. Another theory suggests the practice made them less attractive to men from rival tribes, thus preventing abductions. Today, however, for the Cayenne women themselves, these rings are primarily a symbol of beauty, prosperity, and devotion to their cultural heritage. It's an integral part of their identity, though. Sadly, it has also evolved into a tourist attraction. Continuing our journey into the fascinating world of body modification, this time we're taking a closer look at human smiles. While many of us idealize straight white teeth as the pinnacle of beauty, in certain tribes across Indonesia and Africa, the aesthetic is precisely the opposite. Here, the ancient tradition of ritual tooth sharpening persists. Using stones or specialized blades, and entirely without anesthesia, teeth are meticulously filed into sharp, predatory fangs. This incredibly painful procedure serves as a crucial initiation rite, symbolizing a young person's transition into adulthood. For us, such a smile might conjure images of vampires or aggression. But for these communities, it represents the epitome of beauty and a clear mark of maturity. Women, in particular, with sharpened teeth, are considered especially alluring. Beyond its aesthetic and social significance, this tradition also carries profound spiritual meaning. Some beliefs hold that tooth sharpening serves to distinguish humans from animals and ward off evil spirits, fostering a deeper harmony with the natural world. It's yet another striking testament to just how vastly beauty standards can diverge across the diverse corners of our planet. Let's continue our journey into the world of dentistry, but this time we're heading to the enchanting island of Bali in Indonesia. Here you'll find a unique and deeply significant ceremony for every Balinese individual, the Mapandis, or tooth filing ritual. When a teenager reaches puberty, they undergo this pivotal rite of passage. However, the purpose isn't to sharpen the teeth, but quite the opposite, to smooth and straighten them. During a vibrant ceremony attended by all family members, a priest symbolically files 6 upper teeth, specifically the canines and incisors, using a traditional file. For Balinese Hindus, sharp-pointed teeth are seen as symbols of primal animal instincts and even demonic forces. This ritual aims to purify the individual, freeing them from the 6 evils: lust, greed, anger, pride, confusion, and envy. By smoothing the sharp edges of the teeth, Balinese people believe they are helping the young person control these negative traits and enter adulthood as a wiser, more harmonious individual. Thus, this isn't merely a cosmetic procedure, but a profoundly spiritual purification rite, considered essential for every devout Balinese on the island. Now let's dive into something truly thrilling. We're heading to Pentecost Island in Vanuatu, the birthplace of one of the world's most perilous rituals, naghol, or land diving. Consider it the original bungee jump, but infinitely more dangerous. Annually, during the yam harvest, the men and boys of the tribe construct an enormous wooden tower, sometimes reaching 30 meters high. Then, one by one, they ascend to the top, fasten 2 long vines to their ankles, and dive headfirst. Unlike the elastic cord of modern bungee jumping, these vines don't stretch. Their length is calculated with extreme precision, designed so that at the very end of the fall, the diver's shoulders barely graze the softened earth. A vine that's too long means disaster, a fatal impact. Too short, and the force of the rebound could violently throw them back onto the tower. This ritual is a profound test of courage and faith. The tribe believes a successful jump guarantees a bountiful yam harvest for the coming year. Legend has it that the very first land diver was a woman. Desperate to escape her cruel husband, she leapt from a tall tree, vines secured to her ankles. Her husband, pursuing her, jumped after her, but without the vines, he plummeted to his death. Ever since, men perform the jump, symbolically proving that they cannot be outsmarted or deceived. Brace yourselves, because the next tradition might sound like a parent's worst nightmare. In some villages across the Indian states of Karnataka and Maharashtra, a ritual dating back over 500 years still persists. This involves dropping infants from a height. Yes, you heard that right. From the roof of a temple or mosque, a religious leader drops a baby from approximately 15 meters or 50 feet down. Below, men stand ready, catching the child on a large, tightly stretched sheet. Immediately afterwards, the infant is handed back to the anxious mother. What's behind this horrifying ritual? Parents believe it guarantees their child robust health, a long life, and good fortune. It's often a vow made by couples who have struggled with infertility. Despite repeated attempts by human rights activists and authorities to ban this dangerous practice, it unfortunately persists in some remote areas. It's a shocking testament to the lengths people will go, driven by their faith in their children's well-being. Leaving behind those more unsettling rituals, let's turn our attention to something far more delightful and amusing. Every year, the Thai city of Lopburi hosts one of the world's most extraordinary banquets. Its star attendees aren't people at all, but rather monkeys. Thousands of long-tailed macaques, considered full-fledged citizens of the city, are invited to a lavish feast. Huge tables are laid out for them, practically groaning under the weight of an incredible spread. 2 tons of fresh fruits, vegetables, rice, sweets, and even cans of Coca-Cola, all prepared for their furry, 4-legged guests. The macaques in Lopburi are held in particularly high regard. Legend has it they are descendants of the monkey god Hanuman, who famously aided Lord Rama in rescuing his wife. By hosting this annual banquet, locals express gratitude to the macaques for drawing tourists to the city, and they believe it brings them good fortune. The resulting spectacle is, as you can imagine, incredibly chaotic and wonderfully entertaining. Macaques leap across the tables, playfully steal food from one another, splash around with drinks, and even pose for eager tourists. It's a vivid and utterly unique example of the peaceful, if slightly mad, coexistence between humans and animals. Our journey takes us back to Spain, but this time we're delving into a tradition that might make parents just as nervous as any ancient ritual. In the small town of Castrillo de Murcia, an annual festival called El Colacho takes place. It's often dubbed the Jump Baptism, or more widely, the Baby Jumping Festival. The premise is simple. In the town's main square, mattresses are laid on the ground. Upon these mattresses, all infants born in the town over the past year are carefully placed. That's when the real spectacle begins. Men, known as colachos, dressed in vibrant yellow and red devil costumes and wielding whips, take a running start and leap over the rows of babies. This bizarre and seemingly perilous ritual has been a tradition since the 17th century. Locals believe the devil's jump purifies the infants' souls from original sin and protects them from illness and evil spirits throughout their lives. Although the Catholic Church does not endorse this tradition, considering it pagan, the town's residents carefully preserve and continue their unique ceremony, which they see as a powerful symbol of good triumphing over evil. Our next stop is Indonesia, specifically the island of Sulawesi, home to the Toraja people. Here, the perception of death is radically different from anything you've ever witnessed. To the Torajans, death isn't an end, but merely a long, transitional stage. When someone passes away, they are not buried immediately. Instead, their body is embalmed and kept within the family home for months, sometimes even years. During this entire period, the deceased isn't considered dead, but merely sick or sleeping. Family members continue to care for them, bringing food and water twice daily, conversing with them, and even changing their clothes. They remain a full and integral part of the household. The funeral itself is a monumental event, for which families save money their entire lives. It's a multi-day festival, replete with music, dance, and the sacrifice of dozens of buffaloes and pigs. But the rituals don't end there. Every few years they observe the Manina ritual, where the bodies of the deceased are exhumed from their tombs, cleaned, dressed in fresh clothes, and paraded through the village, as if simply out for another stroll. This profound tradition serves to honour their ancestors and powerfully reaffirm that they remain, forever, an intrinsic part of the family. Let's continue our exploration of unusual burial rituals, but this time we're heading to the Philippines, specifically the mountainous province of Sagada. There, the indigenous Igorot people have developed their own truly unique way of bidding farewell to their departed. Instead of burying coffins in the ground, they suspend them from cliff sides. High above the ground, on sheer limestone cliffs, hundreds of wooden coffins can be seen, some of them over a century old. This ancient tradition is rooted in several beliefs and practical reasons. Firstly, the Igorot believe that the higher a person is laid to rest, the closer their spirit is to the heavens, ensuring an easier journey into the afterlife. Secondly, it serves as a practical method to protect the deceased's remains from wild animals and from being washed away or flooded during heavy rains. Intriguingly, many elders actually carve their own coffins from a single log during their lifetime, and before the body is placed inside, it undergoes a ritual smoking over a fire to aid in its preservation. This mesmerizing and somewhat eerie landscape of hanging coffins is more than just a burial ground. It's a sacred site that beautifully narrates the story of an entire people. And now, let's pivot from ancient rituals to a modern and truly bizarre superstition, thriving in one of the most technologically advanced countries on Earth, South Korea. Brace yourselves, because this sounds utterly absurd. Many Koreans believe in fan death. They firmly believe that sleeping in a closed room with an electric fan running can lead to death. That's right. An ordinary fan is seen as a potential killer. A few theories attempt to explain this phenomenon. Some claim the fan can cause hypothermia, others believe it creates air vortices that disrupt breathing, and some even suggest it sucks all the oxygen out of the room. None of these theories have any scientific basis, and doctors worldwide dismiss it as a myth. Nevertheless, the fear is so pervasive that all fans sold in South Korea are equipped with automatic shut-off timers. This urban legend is a striking example of how a mass superstition can persist even in the most modern societies, defying all laws of logic and science. Let's head over to Denmark, in Europe. What do you usually get for your birthday? Presents, flowers, a cake, right? But what happens to a birthday celebrant in Denmark if they turn 25 and are still single? Their friends throw them a cinnamon shower. This peculiar and incredibly aromatic tradition involves grabbing the birthday person, tying them to a pole or tree, and showering them from head to toe with cinnamon. Often, for maximum effect, they're first doused with water to make the spice stick even better. Where did this come from, you ask? It's believed that this tradition dates back to the 16th century, linked to Danish spice traders. These merchants travelled extensively and often didn't have the chance to settle down and start a family by their mid-20s. But the fun doesn't stop there. If someone reaches 30 and is still unmarried, the punishment becomes even more intense. Instead of cinnamon, they're showered with pepper. This amusing, albeit slightly spicy tradition is ultimately a playful way for friends to poke fun at the birthday person, and perhaps gently suggest it might be time to settle down. Our journey takes us deep into the South American jungle, to the border regions of Venezuela and Brazil, home to the Yanomami tribe. This isolated community practices one of the most astonishing funeral rituals known to outsiders, endocannibalism. When a tribe member passes away, their body is cremated. But what transpires next is a practice almost unfathomable to a Western mind. The ashes and pulverized bones remaining after cremation are carefully collected and consumed. The ashes are then mixed with a banana stew or a fermented cassava soup and consumed by all members of the family and the wider community. For the Yanomami, however, this is not an act of barbarism, but rather the ultimate expression of respect and love for the departed. They believe that a person's life force resides within their remains, and by consuming them, they ensure the spirit of their loved one does not permanently depart this world. In this way, the ancestor's soul continues to live on within their descendants, strengthening generational bonds and preserving the unity of the tribe. This powerful tradition ensures that no one is ever truly forgotten. Leaving the dark jungles behind, let's transport ourselves to the vibrant, bustling streets of India. Here, every year, one of the world's most vivid and joyful festivals unfolds, Holi. It's a celebration of spring, fertility, and the triumph of good over evil. But above all, it's famed as the Festival of Colours. For several days, the entire country is plunged into a kaleidoscope of colour, a true frenzy of hues. Social distinctions, age and gender, all fade away. People spill onto the streets, engaging in a playful war, where the weapons aren't bullets, but vibrant powdered dyes called gulal and coloured water. They douse and cover one another with these multicoloured powders and water, wishing each other happiness and good fortune. The air fills with vibrant clouds of red, blue, green and yellow. Each hue carries a special meaning. Red signifies love and fertility. Green represents spring and new life, while blue is the sacred colour of Lord Krishna. Holi is a true explosion of emotion, a powerful way to shed old grudges, forgive adversaries, and welcome spring with a pure heart and a face beaming with vibrant colours. Our journey takes us once more to Europe, specifically to northern Italy, to the city of Ivrea. If you thought Spain's La Tomatina tomato fight was the peak of food-throwing madness, then think again. Every year, Ivrea hosts the Battle of the Oranges, one of the largest and oldest food fights in the world. The city divides into 9 teams of foot soldiers and dozens of teams riding on horse-drawn carts. For 3 intense days, they relentlessly pelt each other with oranges. More than 500 tons of citrus fruit are brought in for this battle every single year. So, where does this bizarre tradition originate? It symbolises our historic 12th century rebellion of the people against a cruel tyrant. The teams on carts represent the tyrant's guards, while the foot soldiers embody the rebellious townsfolk. The oranges themselves symbolise the stones the people used to pelt their oppressor's castle. This battle isn't just fun and games though. It's quite brutal and many participants come away with bruises and scrapes. That's why there are special safety zones for spectators, and all participants are required to wear protective headgear. It's a vibrant, fragrant, and undeniably exhilarating way to honour history and blow off some serious steam. Today, our journey takes us to South Sudan, Africa, to explore the fascinating culture of the Dinka tribe. They are known as one of the tallest peoples on the planet, but their height isn't their only defining characteristic. They're perhaps even more renowned for their unique relationship with cattle. For the Dinka, cows are far more than just a food source. They are the very centre of their universe, a measure of wealth, social status, and even beauty. The more cattle a man owns, the wealthier and more influential he becomes. Cattle are given as bride price, used to settle debts, and even offered as sacrifices to the gods. Every Dinka man's life is inextricably linked to his herd. This deep connection is so profound that it's even reflected in their naming conventions. Upon reaching adulthood, a young man receives a second bull name. This name is chosen in honour of his favourite bull, often describing the animal's colour or the distinctive shape of its horns. Dinka men even meticulously shape their bull's horns, coaxing them into intricate, fanciful curves. They compose and sing songs praising their beloved animals, and can spend hours simply admiring their herd. While to outsiders these might appear as mere livestock, for the Dinka, they embody their entire culture, their religion, and the very meaning of life itself. Now let's talk about table manners, shall we? If your mother drilled into you the importance of quiet eating and no slurping as a child, get ready to unlearn those lessons in Japan, especially when noodles are involved. Here, far from being considered rude, loud slurping and enthusiastic chewing while enjoying ramen, udon, or soba is actually the highest form of praise you can offer the chef. The common belief is that the louder and more vigorously you slurp your noodles, the more you're truly savouring and enjoying the meal. It's a clear sign you find the dish incredibly delicious. Beyond mere etiquette, this tradition also boasts a practical explanation. Noodles are typically served piping hot, and slurping them quickly with an intake of air helps to cool them down just enough so you don't burn your mouth. So, the next time you find yourself in a bustling Japanese noodle shop and hear a symphony of slurps around you, don't be alarmed. Go ahead and join in. It's the ultimate way to show your appreciation for the chef's skill and truly savour the authentic flavours. From the understated elegance of Japan, we now journey to the vibrant heart of Greece, a land where emotions are expressed loudly and with great enthusiasm. You've likely seen it in movies. One of Greece's most famous traditions is plate smashing. During lively celebrations, be it a wedding or just a night out at a taverna, as the music reaches its crescendo and dancers give in to the rhythm, plates are hurled to the floor, shattering into countless pieces. But what's the meaning behind it? Known as kifi, this tradition symbolises abundance, joy, and a deliberate letting go of material worries. By smashing plates, Greeks are, in a way, declaring, "We're having such an incredible time that nothing else matters." Furthermore, the loud crash of breaking plates is also believed to ward off evil spirits and misfortune. While for safety reasons, many modern venues now use special plaster plates, or even just scatter flowers on the floor instead of real ceramics, the spirit of this tradition remains very much alive. It's a powerful way to release emotions, show profound appreciation for the musicians and dancers, and simply celebrate life with boundless joy. Just imagine for a moment, every few years, families in Madagascar exhume the remains of their ancestors from crypts. They redress them in fresh shrouds and dance with them to live music. To us, this might sound shocking, but for them, it's not a gruesome act. It's the ultimate expression of love and respect for their lineage, a way to maintain a connection with those who have passed. Or take the Tibetan sky burial. Leaving a body to be consumed by birds might seem barbaric to us, but in their philosophy, it's the ultimate act of generosity, giving one's body back to nature to sustain other living beings. And even the seemingly cruel bullet ant ritual in the Amazon isn't a form of torture, but a way to teach young men to endure pain, control fear, and become protectors of their tribe. As you can see, the world is far more complex and diverse than it appears at first glance. Each of these traditions is not just a strange ritual, but a reflection of an entire history, belief system, and worldview of a people. It's a powerful reminder that normal is a very relative concept. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If the diversity of our world has fascinated you as much as it has us, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next amazing stories. Which tradition shocked you the most? Or perhaps you know of even more incredible customs? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to read them.